Hey everybody, it's Saturday, January 18th. Welcome to Studio Coffee. I missed yesterday in part because I took a little bit of time off. I was really enjoying playing some tennis yesterday, and then I had a good talk with a friend. And I never got to the studio for the length of time that I really wanted to. So anyway, it's Saturday, and I figured I would go ahead and make it up. You can see here is a big pot that I just recently completed, and I'm letting it dry. I'm going to do a little bit of trimming on it. That's one of the things I'm doing today, unloading kilns, reloading kilns, still trying to get ready for the show in Baltimore, which is just a month away. So yeah, plenty of work to do. I'm really excited about how things are going. It's really nice to start seeing some of the work come out, at least of the bisque. I still need to glaze fire, which I hope to do, maybe begin glazing sometime over the weekend, and then try to get fired next week. So look for some pots, some fresh pots to show up on my Instagram feed really soon. Instead of coffee, I've already had my coffee today, so I'm drinking some apple cider that I have out of this cup of mine that I had here in the studio. It's got, I'll let you kind of see that, it's got a really nice surface with a lot of carbon trapping at the top, so there's a lot of that blackish gray in that green, and that's what that carbon trapping is. If you're not familiar, that means that the carbon from the smoke and the firing was actually fused into the clay and became part of the glaze, or into the glaze and became part of the surface. So yeah, it's a really cool effect. It's not always the easiest thing to get, so I really treasure it when it happens. So today, I was kind of thinking about some things to talk about, and I just wanted to maybe briefly talk about something that I've been thinking about this week as I've been getting ready for this show, which is a little bit related. I've kind of sort of talked about this before, but the desire to try to make sure that what I'm doing is really authentic and not just about making numbers for the sake of numbers, for the sake of trying to sell as much stuff as possible. Of course, I want to sell as much stuff as possible, and I definitely want to pay attention to the numbers and what sells and what doesn't sell. But I don't necessarily want that to be the driver of my career. So I'm sort of trying to figure out or think about ways to think about what it is that I really want the pots to do and be about. And one of the things that I've been really thinking about is that, in a way, I like to think of pots and pottery, or my pottery. I want it to be about generosity. There's a generosity in the making. There's a generosity in the buying, the experience of handcrafted goods, and the everyday use of them. And even I think what they intend to do is they tend to invite you, if you own handmade mugs and cups, you more likely to want to share them with people. So there's also a generosity of spirit even in the using, in part because the pots sort of invite you to open yourself and your home up for other people. So yeah, so anyway, I think that's one of the things that I think about a lot when I'm doing pottery. And that actually struck me today as I was thinking about what it is that I'm making and what am I making, because I think I get stuck in a place oftentimes where I'm trying to make things that people will like and want. And sometimes that means that I end up making things a little bit too much about trying to please people and not about trying to make things that are personal or that I'm really interested in. So something that I was thinking about is that one of the ways to think about generosity is the most generous thing that I can do as a maker is to make things that are deeply personal and fulfilling for myself. Now that sounds weird because that sounds like it's very self-serving, right? So I think I know some students I've talked to or I've had in the past have sometimes, worried that chasing art is a selfish pursuit. But what I would sort of argue is that if you're really trying to make things that are authentic, that are coming from a place deep, deep inside you, then that actually translates to other people. So if you want to make things that reach other people, instead of trying to reach out and say, oh, what is it that they want and what can I do that will please them? Actually, I think the opposite is true, because I think when you do that, a lot of times people go, oh, that's really nice, but it doesn't really feed them beyond that one instantaneous moment. But if it's something deeply personal, you may potentially not have as wide an audience, but the people who you do connect with, who connect with your work, are going to connect on a much, much deeper level. So the only thing that I'm really qualified to talk about is what's inside me, right? I mean, I don't know your experience, so I can't really, if I try to concentrate on trying to do something that will please you, I'm already kind of working at a place where I'm doing a lot of guessing. But if I'm working on the things that are important to me, then there's a much better chance that what I'm going to do is going to be meaningful. These works are going to be more meaningful when they get out into the world. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. If you want your work to be generous, I think you have to make it deeply personal. So I'm going to continue to chase the things that are exciting to me, and hopefully have some really great stuff for a really great show that's coming up. So that's it for this week. I'll see you next week. Bye.